Hello, everyone. Welcome to the original Next Level Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Mike Mullis. It's a pleasure to have you guys all out on a Friday night with me. And tonight, got a little something special. Wanted to do something different. Everybody else in the world is doing their pre-E3 stuff. And so I thought it might be a great idea to actually talk about E3. And to do that, I've got a great special guest with me tonight, a veteran of game journalism himself, a veteran of E3, someone who can, kind of talk about the show and what it means and what it's about. My man, Tony Polanco from the Coalition and the Throwdown podcast. What is going on, brother?
Hey, man, what's going on, people? Mike, thank you for having me on, man. It's been a while. We've been planning this for a bit, so I'm glad to be here talking about E3. It's going to be a pretty interesting show. By the way, I find it kind of interesting you're calling me a veteran. I don't know if I'm a veteran just yet,
Well, let's see. How many years you got in?
Actually, it's funny we're talking about E3 because I first started, independent gaming journalism at E3, right? So this will be my 4th year doing this, next week. So
hey, know what? If you were in the NFL, you'd be a vet already.
That is true. I'm going to say I'm not a veteran, but I have experience.
Well, that's great. So you've been going to E3 since then, 12?
Yeah, 12. Okay.
12, 13, 14, 15, 16? That'd be 4 years.
Yeah, it'd be 4 years. Okay, actually, the first one I attended was 2013, but I covered 2012 for STFU and Play. That was my first ever site.
Okay.
So I was, since the site was only up and running for a couple months, how E3 is, your site needed to be around for a while, right? So our editor-in-chief, Torrance Davis, he got in because he's a veteran. He's been going since 1995. Old school, right?
Oh yeah. Now he's even older than me when it comes to it because I was 98.
Yeah, he was one of those he was one of the guys I wanted on tonight, but he's doing his own podcast tonight, The War Zone, which is been around forever, right? That podcast. So he obviously could be here. But he's doing 1995 was the very first E3, so 2012 he was out there covering it. I was home, so he just kept sending me news and I would post it and stuff. So that was, my first E3 experience in as a journalist, but I've been watching E3 since with my eyes, since 2000, since 2005 when they started showing them on fucking was it G4 TV? Remember that?
Oh yes, G4 TV. G4 TV was
man, that was good stuff
when they started.
Yeah, man, it takes me back. And then, but obviously before that, I remember being 15 years old, man, getting that EGM, the very first, electronic entertainment expo. What is this? What is going on? You see all these games, dude. I lost my mind. Tomb Raider, all this crazy stuff. I'm what is going on? I remember all pretty much my entire life up until that point, bucket list. E3. I got to go to E3, and I don't care how. I need to get myself to E3. And then when I started in the gaming journals and things, oh shit, I can get into E3 now. So you could imagine what was going through my head when I finally got there. Los Angeles, crazy stuff, man. So I'm definitely happy to be here talking about E3, man. I love it. It's it's a Super Bowl of gaming, basically, Well,
it is. It was.
It was,
at some point. So a real couple quick things since I knew you were coming on, and you and I are old Sega men.
Yes, man.
Wore this for you, my brother.
Hey, I love the shirt, man.
15th anniversary. And I got this actually at E3 in 2001. 2004. Let's see, 91, 2001, 16.
Okay.
6. So it was my second to last E3. I got it in 06. They were giving them out in the booth because this is a 15th anniversary shirt.
Oh, nice.
So that'd be 06.
Yeah, but
it says it right on there.
It says right there. Yeah, but it would be remiss of me not to point out the fact that that's the wrong Sonic.
What?
When our Sonic, boy, I'm talking about Sega Genesis.
Oh,
Sonic
well,
2,
yeah.
3,
Hang on.
That Sonic with the green eyes, that's not my Sonic.
I know.
Man.
On the back, it does have the 91 on it, though.
There you go.
So, look,
I just had to point that out. I was like, listen, man, my Sonic, he got black eyes, man.
I know, right. Well, you look, Sega's not Sega anymore either.
Oh man,
let's be honest.
Get me started, man.
So, it's funny because there are two other shows that I'm gonna have you back on for after this one. One is when I do my retro show, and in fact, Crazy Juan, who's been doing some great NASCAR videos for us for the Forza Motorsport 6 NASCAR expansion. He's shown an interest in wanting to do some retro game videos for us, SNES, Genesis. I think he's got OG, Xbox, and so when all the dust settles from E3, I want to do a kind of a retro cast, get you back on. And then the other one, you and I started to kind of talk about this on Twitter. The shift in the power shift between Japanese development and Western development. And, what's happened to Sega? What's happened to Capcom? What's happened to Konami? Those, for us to talk about, we were there, we were importing systems, and we were, and so at some point I want to have that talk about what happened. So, but tonight, it's kind of interesting that, with E3 a couple of weeks away, you still can't make any real predictions because, before the show, people are going to announce things. So this far out, I didn't even want to do a prediction show because, well, what can you possibly do with that 2 weeks away?
Yeah, it's funny you say, this far out because they started doing these like a month ago, the prediction shows. And I'm like, guys, like, isn't it a little too early? Like, I'm doing my prediction show next Thursday, like literally. That's
what we're doing.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. These guys are doing all these, like, because they're like, oh, we got to do our prediction show now because things are going to get leaked. It's like, not everything's going to get leaked, And my thing is, like, I want more information to make proper predictions, We're still too far out.
We are. And so this is where E3 sort of has become a bit hazy as far as its importance. How many times in the last 2 years have companies been just throwing information out before the show even starts? Yeah. One thing I saw today, they're showing off. Square is showing off Deus Ex Mankind on the 8th, like a week before the show. Like, why don't you hold that for the show? Why don't you hold that for the time when all eyes are on you?
Yeah, that makes no sense. They've been doing a lot. I remember last year, Bethesda, they announced that Fallout 4 was happening before E3. It's like, why wouldn't you save that for E3 proper?
Right.
That's big. Like, obviously for E3, the release date was the mega bomb, but you could have had like 13 megatons of bombs dropping if you would have dropped, hey, the game's not only is the game coming out, it's existing, but it's coming out in 3 months. People would have went fucking nuts.
I know. And so now you're blowing big time announcements before you even get to your conferences.
Yeah, I don't get it. I really, like, you could ask me and I could try to think about it for years and I can never give you a proper answer. Why do they do this? It makes no sense. If this is supposed to be the spotlight, right? Like, you want all the attention. Why are you essentially taking the winds out of your sails by doing, like, announcing stuff when you're not supposed to be? It's weird,
It is. And the other thing too is I've never seen this many fan-related events going around the show as I have before. I mean, even in 2013 and 2012, I think even back then the show was still a press show, right? Now,
it was. I saw it with my own 2 eyes, man. First year I went, it was strictly, press. Then the year after that, it was like, a couple fans. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Then last year when I went, it was like, I don't know the exact numbers, but it was a noticeable amount. So much so that you had to wait in line extra time, And remember, I'm still doing independent stuff, right? So they didn't give a fuck if you were like a fan or independent guy. You had to wait on that line, unless you were IGN or Kotaku, you had to wait. So I'm like, what's going on here? I remember one year I went to Ubisoft. I had an appointment. I was there for about 2 hours. I got to play 6 games, right? This time, I'm not kidding you. I was there for 3 hours. Only got to play 2 games. So, I'm like, yo, I'm here because of a job. I'm not here to have fun. I'm trying to get some work done here. All this stuff is like impeding me. So on that end, I'm like, you got to separate the press and the fans, man. You can't just have them all mixed up. And it seems like this year, it might be worse. I mean, dude, it got so bad where I literally said to myself, if this thing keeps going to this trajectory, I'm done coming to E3 because this is like ridiculous. I can't get work done that way, you know?
Well, back in the so back in the days that I was going, even when it was just press, I would spend so much time in meetings because what you really wanted to do back then, and especially for us, I mean, yeah, we were second tier. I mean, you had IGN, you had GameSpot, you had um, one or two other, you had like the UGO, the main UGO stuff, and then the us affiliate sites, us and Team Xbox, and there weren't WordPress blog sites at that time, so there were,
Yeah.
Kotaku and Polygon and stuff. They didn't exist, so you either had a site or you had nothing. We would, if you wanted to keep kind of close with your contacts, you scheduled meetings. So I would have to basically meet privately with every company that I wanted to meet with.
Yeah.
I got no show floor time. Like other people, other staff, they got to go because I usually would take 2 or 3 people with me, and they would get to go and they get on the floor and they play games and they come back to me. Hey, I was next to Miyamoto and he said hi to me, and I'm like, great, I'm in this little room talking to my EA rep. I mean, I never got a chance to really experience the floor other than you get to walk through it when you walk from meeting to meeting. You get to kind of look up at the big display boards and the TVs and all, and the big screens that are going off. And if you didn't find the time, you just didn't get to do it.
Interesting. Yeah. Like the way I did it was different. My first year, I didn't have any appointments at all. Right. So what I did was I literally just went to any booth I possibly could, with provided lines weren't too long, and I played everything. I think I must have wrote like 14 previews, like in the span of 3 days. This is my first E3. I went in, I went
I think
crazy.
you did it the way I probably should have.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
and we broke those meetings up too. Like my other staff, I mean, they had to go and meet with people too. Now, granted, we got some cool stuff out of it. I mean, I've got memories of things that I'll never forget. That when you meet with these guys, and then one of my favorite memories was the show was about an hour away from being over. It was I can't remember what year Halo 2 came out. My dates and I don't get along anymore. I'm getting old and 3 children, and I'm starting to get gray up in the eyebrows. So it's all become a blur. But that year, we were walking through. I was done all our meetings. We were walking through the show floor. We were going to leave. You saw people. It was an hour to go. You saw people start to kind of pack up, and our Microsoft rep ran over to me because we were walking by the booth, and he said, I got room for one more demo. You want to come see it? And I said, demo of what? And he said, you don't want to know. Just come. And so he grabbed me by the shoulder, and he's like dragging me in this room. And there's Frankie O'Connor in the room, standing in front of the Halo 2 multiplayer.
Oh, wow.
Behind the scenes Halo 2 multiplayer. And we weren't allowed to take any pictures, but I was able to write an article about it. And that article is, it's still, it's kind of neat. Our site, not all of the pages, but our site kind of still lives on a little bit on this site called Web Archive. And so I've been going through in the last year and just looking up old pages that are cached. And I found that page, and I couldn't believe it. So we got dragged into a Halo 2 multiplayer with other press guys, and it was, I had no idea what was even going on. It was that behind closed doors. So, while I love to get out on the floor and play, sometimes getting back and meeting those people and sitting down with them gets you a little bit extra stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
And so that's kind of cool. One of my other good memories was before. So in the Dreamcast days, Bethesda Softworks was doing. They were still a young company, and Pete Hines, who's he's their big face of the company now. He was still there. Now, we kind of had a connection because I'm in Maryland, he's in Maryland, so I'm about I don't know 45, 50 minutes from their office. I met him for the first time in I think it was E3 2000. Because I was a Dreamcast site covering Dreamcast and stuff, Sega gave us a system disc so I could cover preview stuff. He gave me a copy of it. I still have it. I meant to grab it before the podcast started. He gave me a copy of an unfinished game, PBA Bowling.
Okay.
It was never released. I tweeted him a picture of it the other day because I got my Dreamcast hooked up to the HD TV, and I'd say probably a handful of people have one. Most people probably threw them away. I kept it. I mean, those are just things.
That's crazy.
Those are just things that you remember. I showed them to you before we started. Larry Herb gave me this. It's the E305 faceplate for the 360. My friends at Mad Cats, poor Mad Cats.
Yeah, right.
So they gave me this. So that's the E305 faceplate. And so, over the course of time, I accumulated some great memories, met some great people. Some of them are still around. And, it's the reason I put the channel together last year is because for the first time in 8 years, I actually missed E3. And it's why I kind of fear what's going on with it now, because it's just not what I remember.
Yeah, it's different now. I mean, when I went, they already didn't have booth babes. None of that stuff was around anymore, But the thing is, even when I first started, it was still about the core thing was always about games, but then it just started shifting a little bit. Now we're getting more of the independent stuff. Nothing against that, but a lot more independent stuff. VR's coming up now. All this other stuff. It's it's not like the E3s I remember watching on TV when it was just madness and stuff, But it's still fun. But the main reason I still go is because you know me, I'm pretty active on Twitter, right? Yes. I guess I actually meet these people. I actually meet these guys for real and converse and stuff, and it's been helping me, just make a name for myself in the industry. So that's always fun, But it going there is different than just watching it from TV like I was used to. It's not. I hate to say this, is not to sound too pessimistic, but it's not as fun. Probably because I'm actually working instead of just watching, going, "Oh my God, this is crazy," Because obviously after that, I started getting appointments and stuff. So it's all about meeting those appointments, keeping that shit, and it's not, you can't really wander around too much,
Right. So now you see what it is I'm talking about.
Yeah. So I'm doing all the stuff I did last year is what you did, going to meetings. That's all I was doing, barely any time to actually check the floor out. So this year I'm trying to do a little bit of a mix, trying to leave myself at least one day, just go around and just look at stuff and come up with cool stories based off of that,
So how is and by the way, shout out to the chat room, which they are already on fire.
Yeah, a bunch of good guys in there too, man.
They really are, man. If not for that chat room, I mean, those guys keep me going.
Yeah, man. But E3, but the thing I also love about E3, I call these E3 moments, right? Where you just walk in the halls and you bump into a developer or a publisher. And remember, as far as they're concerned, at least most of them, we're all equals, right? So you just talk to them about whatever, it's cool. I remember I was walking to one meeting and I see Randy Pitchford and we're both going in the same direction, So I started talking to him, just about regular stuff. And I'm like, hey, man, I think the new Borderlands was coming out. The last Borderlands games that was coming out. I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to get, a lot of love from that. Not the same reception you guys got for Colonial Marines, And, and he was like, yeah, man, I know. He was really kind of regretful about all that, right? And then this other time, I was at one of those food vans or whatever the fuck they call them. So I'm waiting in the line. This is Los Angeles, right? You got to wait forever on these lines.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I'm there looking at the menu and stuff, and I just mutter to myself, I'm like, yo, what the fuck is a slider? What is a slider? And this dude next to me, he explains, oh, yeah, they're like little hamburgers. That's cool. So when we're talking and talking, and I look at his badge, Infinity Ward. Oh, shit. This dude makes Call of Duty. So I asked him the question that's been burning in my head for 10 years. I'm like, how does it feel knowing that you guys put all this effort into a single player game and into the single player portion of the game and nobody fucking plays it? And my man kept it real. He's like, listen, it sucks, but you got to give the people what they want,
Yep.
You know, he's like, we can't release it. It's funny, we can't release a game without a single player component. And look what's happening now.
Right. Right. And it's funny because one of my heroes. By the way, just to let them know, I'm halfway on the beer. It is beer, but it is light. So
Hey, Yingling, man. By the way,
I love this stuff.
It's funny about Yingling. I just found this out literally last weekend. I found out that beer is like the origins were from Europe or something. I thought, for my whole life, I thought that shit was Chinese. I'm like, Yingling, that's gotta be Chinese. Like apparently the breweries in New York, that's where
Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Okay, Pennsylvania. Okay, yeah, Pennsylvania, because my friend's wife's parents are from Pennsylvania. They're like, yeah, the brewery is close to them, and I'm like, was it Chinese immigrants that started it? And apparently it's like Scandinavians or something crazy. So I didn't know that. But yeah, great beer.
Yeah, it is a great beer. So yes, I am drinking beer tonight, chat room folks. Kids are in bed.
There you go,
man. Tony's already cursing up a storm.
This is the way I'm actually trying to tone it down, man.
You're doing this just fine. Yeah. So it's funny because you mentioned the single player and multiplayer. I don't get so starstruck like you. You just you walk up, you talk to these guys. One of my favorite people in the industry has always been Peter Moore.
Yeah, he's Sega Dreamcast, right?
Exactly. So I remember the first time I met him, I was working for Dreamcast HQ. It was E3 '99, and they had this after party in this big I don't know, it was not a hangar, but some industrial complex. I mean, it was all decked out with metal and stuff like that. You had the guys up playing NBA 2K on the big screens, and up comes Peter Moore. He's up on this scaffold, and I mean, Peter was never one not to speak his mind. So he knew. I think everybody knew that PlayStation was coming, and it was the PS2 was coming. It was not there. They were scared. They knew it.
Yeah.
But Peter's up there on that scaffolding. Thank you all for coming. We are gonna kick Sony's ass. I mean, he was like how many did you have? And so I talked to him for like a good 30, 40 minutes, just sitting down with him. And that kind of bled through the next few years when he moved on to Microsoft. And he's one who always, I'd always go through the booth, have my meetings. I'd never meet with Peter because he was always busy. The presidents of the company never met with you. They had all kinds of other bigger fish to fry. He never went a year without stopping to say, hey, shake my hand, take a minute. When the Xbox 360 launched that fall, they had an event in New York.
Yeah.
So I went up to New York, me and my writer Dan, and they had it was him. He was there. He and Arnie Meyer, who was at the time, Arnie's with Naughty Dog now, but he was my Microsoft rep, and I credit him to this day for Next Level Gaming really existing in the way that it does, because without him, I don't have don't tell anybody, that's my debug unit I never sent back.
You told me not to tell anyone. You literally just said it on air.
How many of these have I actually had? No, but I mean, what are they going to come asking for it? They discontinued making the damn thing. But without a guy like that, I don't know where I would be. So those guys legitimized our site. And so, I got him, I got Peter, and I got Shane Kim, who at the time was head of Microsoft Studios. Yeah. I have never met Phil Spencer, believe it or not. The one guy in all this, I have never met him. He was with Microsoft during all that time, but Shane was always the guy I met with because he was the Microsoft. It was him and Arnie. I'd meet with those guys because Shane was the head of Microsoft Studios, and Arnie was my rep who would kind of go over, whatever it is we talked about, and he showed me in the meeting. And I've met, like I said, I met Frank O'Connor and those guys. But Peter was always that guy that he just took the time. And every once in a while, I'll try to hit him up. No, I never met Ed Fries. Enrique was asking. he would always, like I said, he'd always just take the time to come and say hi. That's the kind of stuff that follows you. And I remember, when I started getting on Twitter, and I've tweeted him a couple of times, and I've said, hey, I'm sure you don't remember me, but I just wanted to say have a good show, blah blah. It sends me a private message. Of course, I remember you. That's the kind of stuff I cherish coming out of E3.
Yeah, and I love that stuff, man. I remember one year, I met Michael Pachter, right? Now that year I had, I was at Dual Shockers, right? And we interviewed him, right? So when I met him, that was my icebreaker. Like, hey, yeah, we interviewed you and stuff. That was a great interview. We talked about that. This was actually, what was it? It was after the EA event 2 years ago, right? That's when we talked. But ever since then, every time I bump into Mike, in the hallways, he's always giving me a fist bump and stuff. We talk. So that kind of stuff, like you said, you always remember that, because these guys remember you just, from casual conversations. And I know, like, we're talking about being Star Trek. I'm not one of those guys, but I'm like, yo, it's just another human being, you talk to them like they're anybody.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it.
That's how I feel about it. And I'm not taking anything away from what they do.
No, you respect what they do, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But at the same time, they're just another person like you. So why not approach them as an equal? Exactly, So that's the way I see it, and it struck me pretty well. But since we're talking about stories, I actually have two pretty funny stories, right?
That's what this is tonight for. I want stories and experiences.
Yeah. Now this one, okay, they're both about Hideo Kojima, right? One of them doesn't involve me. One of them does. I'll tell you that.
All right.
I'll tell the one that doesn't involve me, even though it's funnier, right? So anyway, this is a story from my Coalition brothers. So apparently one year, right, they were there and stuff. I think it was three of them. They were all doing their thing together. And one of them needed to go to the bathroom, right? Dude goes into the bathroom, does his thing. He comes out like he saw a ghost. And like, yo, like his name was Ed. Like, yo, Ed, what happened? He's like, yo, I just took a piss next to Hideo Kojima. Like he said he was doing his thing, and he just turned his head. He's like, he's literally right there. So my friend Gary, he's gonna be there this year, he's like, yo, did he have a solid snake? So I was like, that's crazy, man. So now this story, this does involve me. Mike, man, like I fucked up so bad, man. These guys in the chat are gonna make fun of me. So this is what happened. This was 2 years ago, right? Last day of E3, Thursday, right? 4:30. It closes at 5, right?
Right.
We're done. Okay, so Hideo Kojima was being interviewed at the IGN booth, right? My friend Manny, he's a huge Metal Gear guy. He's like, I got me into Metal Gear. He's like, dude, I'm gonna try to meet Kojima. Like, I know for a fact that everybody's gonna wait for him at this specific spot. I'm gonna go to the exit and I'm gonna wait for this guy. Like, all right, that's cool. I hope you make it. Now, the reason I didn't go with him is because I had a date. This girl I met on, through Twitter and stuff, she wanted to go on a date, right? I'm like, hey, I'll make it lucky tonight. That was going on through my mind. So while my friend was going to go meet Kojima, I go, into the bathroom, change up. I got myself all fancy shoes and shit, all that, right? I go on this date. It was nice and all, don't get me wrong. But nothing happened. I didn't get lucky, right? My boy, on the other hand, he got to meet Kojima. Met him. Like, he was waiting by the exit. Kojima comes, and my friend's an artist, right? So he gives him a drawing he did of Metal Gear Solid stuff. Kojima took it. He had him on a video and stuff because Kojima was filming everything. And I'm like, yo, I should have skipped that goddamn date, man. I could have met Kojima. Shit.
Which one is more important to you?
Exactly. Like, I had because I was thinking with my lower head, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get lucky tonight. But it's like, yo, you messed everything up, man. Because I could have had myself a picture of Kojima that would be there for posterity. It's crazy, man. And parties and stuff, those are always fun at E3.
Those are fun. Oh, those are always fun.
Especially once you sneak it through. I don't think I've gotten into many parties I've been invited to. I always just sneak my way in. And you know how I do it? I literally just go, hey, I'm invited to this party. They're with me. Let me in. And they don't tell me shit. They're like, okay, go ahead. It's great,
And we used to do fun. Like, Activision used to be the most active. So my I knew these guys, John Lenaway, he does a little bit of stuff in the industry, but I don't think he's doing much in the way of PR anymore. We used to do shit like the second night of the show, man, we used to whatever hot movie was out at that time. Like Activision would just take a whole bunch of us out to the movies, get
Yeah.
drinks,
Oh shit.
and so and it's cool because at that time Activision was publishing the Doom and Quake games. So Todd Hollinshead and those guys from id would hang out with us, and uh, those guys are those are some cool guys. Those are guys that they just they don't give a shit. They will talk about anything you want.
Yeah,
And
that's the best part right there. I'm glad you bring that up. Getting developers and executives drunk, man, they'll get their tongues loose, man. I'm telling you, you get some good secrets,
yes, you do. It's not like these modern day insiders. We had to wine and dine these guys to get what we really wanted out of them.
Yeah. But see, I guess I didn't get these guys drunk enough because they would tell me all this information. They'll be like, "Don't tell anyone," and and I'm like, "Damn it! Now I'm honor bound not to tell anyone." Shit, Now, granted, I probably wouldn't do that anyway because it's kind of scummish to me to do that.
Yeah.
But,
Well, and how could we? Back then. Well, now, okay. So back in my day of going,
yeah.
we didn't have Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. Anything that I wanted to portray or talk about, I had to make an article for. And heck, and my name's on that stuff. There was no, it's like my real name is on this. It had to be in order to get into the show in the first place.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you couldn't just leak the stuff. There are things that I knew about, and because it's so funny when I see these guys on Twitter, these, they claim to be insiders, and they're basically just grabbing information that everybody else kind of already knows but doesn't talk about. But man, we knew some stuff back then that if I had told anybody, it would have really damaged my relationship with these guys. So I held on to a lot of stuff that I kind of knew was coming down the pike, and it's that kind of trust though that gets you things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's those kind of things that I knew about 2K Sports at the time, because 2K Sports was in kind of in that era. 2K Sports was in this process of transitioning all their stuff over from Sega. So they brought on Sega sold them basically all the NFL and NBA to visual concept stuff, and I kind of knew all that stuff was going on, and I knew I knew the real reason why Microsoft gave up the XSN Sports stuff, even though what they said publicly was one thing. Behind the scene, I mean, I sat down with these guys, and I'm like, look, these are, I've pimped this for you many, many times. You got to tell me what's going on, and so they would, and so it's stuff that I won't even talk about today because, God forbid I ever want to get, back into that bit. I don't want to ruin that, but the payment you get for that is I get to be a relief pitcher in MLB 2K7. So I mean, it's shit like that makes it cool. So. Yeah, one of the other things that you brought up Metal Gear, it reminded me of a picture I have. In 06, while I don't get very celebrity struck with execs, I do get celebrity struck with some celebrities. So at the time, one of my favorite shows on Adult Swim, which was still around back then, was Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Oh, nice.
And Game Tap. I don't know if you remember Game Tap back in the day, but they were, the streaming. They were kind of the first kind of streaming game. You could download games. You paid a fee. Well, they were still kind of big back then, and they were running like these Space Ghost shows. So I thought they were taped, but when we had some time, I walked over. And he's doing a show, and he pointed this guy out that was walking by. And I'm like, all right, that's not possible if that's taped. So after the show was over, I was standing with my friend Dan, and I said, man, I'd love to meet the guy that does that show. And I guess the mic was still on because Space Ghost said, you do? And he opened the door and he popped himself out.
Oh, wow.
His name is George Lowe. And this is one of my favorite pictures of all time.
Oh,
That's
wow.
me and the voice of Space Ghost. And you see the Sharpie he's got in his hand?
Yeah.
he picked up. I meant to bring it over. I'm not going to get up. There's a poster. Let me see if I can swing the camera around real quick. It's up on my wall. There's a poster.
Yeah, I see it.
It is completely signed by him, and if you see the bubbles, he wrote like some witty character thing in front of every character, and then signed it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's been on my wall for 10 years now.
That's amazing.
I know. So it's those kind of things that you remember about that show.
I haven't. It's funny, being in LA, I didn't bump into any like huge celebrities. There was only one. Like, I remember we went to this one party. I forgot what the party was for, but they were showing off Ibarra or whatever, like that Ninja Gaiden Ibarra type game.
Oh yeah.
So they're there, right? And Dwayne Wayne from Different World shows up. You guys remember? Oh shit, it's Dwayne Wayne, man. It's crazy. And we were talking to this dude for like 2 hours. He's really cool, And then the next day, we're walking the show floor and we see this guy, I'm forgetting his real name, but he's on a line, a huge line. I'm like, yo, what are you doing on this line, man? He's like, dude, they're giving away a graphics card, man. I'm trying to win it. I'm like, man, Dwayne Wayne don't wait on no line for a graphics card. What is this? This dude cracked up when I said that.
Oh my God. By the way, I forgot I had this pic. This is the other picture of it. So this was the set. And he was actually that's when I actually, it wasn't the guy he pointed out. He actually told him to make a pyramid. So I'm like, okay, maybe they just rehearsed it. And then he pointed out a guy walking by. But he was doing this in the background. So, he had the show going. And, oh my God, it was just like, that's one of those times. Like the Dwayne Wayne. I mean, this is, Jordan.
The other one, I remember, regarding celebrity, I'm going to give a shout out right now to Danny Pena from Gamer Tag Radio, right? So I've been friends with Danny for a long time, right? So at the last E3, I saw him on the last day, and she's a pretty cool dude, right? He was visibly upset. I'm like, hey, Danny, what's up, man? He's like, yo, man, it's like Kanye West, man. I'm like, what happened? I'm like, he was like, dude, I had a meeting at the Microsoft booth, and they cleared us all out because Kanye showed up. Obviously that made it was a big news story, like Kanye's at E3, but some people that had appointments got pushed out because of this guy. I was like, damn, that's crazy. Even though I'm not a fan of Kanye West. If I saw him, I would be like, oh, whatever, I don't know you.
I don't know you.
Like, I don't know you, man. But I just find it funny. He's like, yo, Danny, what's up? Like, man, Kanye West. And I'm like, what happened with Kanye West? Like, dude, man, they cleared out the whole booth. And then I remember my first E3, my boss Torrance, right? Because he knows oh my God, Aaron Greenberg, right? He knows him. So he goes into the Microsoft booth, the hip hop gamer. Everybody knows him, right? And they just do this impromptu conversation where hip hop gamer, you know how crazy this guy is. So him and Aaron Greenberg are going at it about Microsoft versus PlayStation. And we recorded this, and it was an hour long. It was beautiful, man.
Fantastic.
That's the sort of stuff you come away with, man. You just remember that stuff,
But it's also walking through the show and seeing things.
I got one for you, Mike, man. You're gonna love this one. All right. So I had an appointment at Microsoft booth, right? Because this was Xbox One, right? Crimson Dragon. Nobody gave a fuck about this game, but I'm going crazy because it's made by the dude who made Panzer Dragoon. I don't know if you guys remember that from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
So I remember that. The game, and the guy who's demoing it for me, I'm gushing. I'm like, yo, man, I love Panzer Dragoon, Panzer Dragoon 2, Panzer Dragoon Saga, my favorite games. And he goes, hold on, man, hold on. He playing a game. I'm like, cool. He brings out the fucking developer, the guy who created the series. I don't geek out over shit. I lost my mind when I saw this dude. I'm like, oh. I'm like, listen, I know this isn't professional, but can you please take a picture of us? Like those moments, like, oh my God, like the dude didn't speak any English, obviously, but I didn't care.
Right? It was Yukio Furusugi.
Yeah, Furusugi. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, lost my mind. That's easily one of the highlights for me of E3, man. Just meeting this dude. But I just love the way he did. It's like, hold on a second. He play a game, I'll be right back. And he breaks my like, let me pause this game. I'm talking to you right now. And I told him how much I love Panzer Dragoon. I was a kid. I was like 15 when that game came out. And I was like 32 at that time. So I lost it, man. Great stuff, Oh,
that's awesome. See, that's when you get to meet people, when you get to see things for the
Yeah.
first time before other people see it. Now it's not so much now, but back in those days, like 99 was kind of had my very first wow moment. And I was, not, like, I was younger back then, so I had a lot more piss and vinegar in me. So I'd be the guy that was, because I was working on a Dreamcast site, I'd have my Sega Dreamcast shirt walking through the PlayStation booth, like this, because I was a jerk back then. But I remember walking through the booth, the Dreamcast booth. Now I hadn't really, we were, I had my Saturn. We were sort of getting into what the Dreamcast was about. I had gone, I'd sat through the Sega conference, and it was cool. It was really cool. But I'm walking through the booth, just kind of looking around, and up on the screen, they were showing NFL 2K. This is the first time in my life I had ever actually stopped what I was doing and forgot where I was for a minute. I turned up, I just looked up, just looking. Receiver was running downfield.
Oh, shit.
Turned his head to look for the ball, to catch the ball. Now, this was just NFL 2K. I ain't even talking about 2K3, Xbox versions, the 360 and PS3 versions of the engine. I'm just talking about straight up NFL 2K. I stopped what I was doing and just gawked at that screen for like 10 minutes because I couldn't believe at the time what I was looking at. We're used to Madden with the two-dimensional character just, doing it.
Yeah.
But this was the first time I saw a three-dimensional football player actually turn and track his head with the ball. And when I got in to talk to the guys at Visual Concepts, I was like dumbstruck. I was like, guys, I don't even know what to ask you, so just tell me what's going on. And that was, one of the other cool things, and this didn't happen at E3, but it happened as a result.
Okay.
I always wanted to, they had the two guys. Now their on-screen names were Dan Stevens and Peter O'Keefe. They were the commentary team for every NFL 2K game. And one year it was probably the year before Sega gave up. They were moving, and I was like, those guys, are they real guys? And my Sega rep said, no, they're not. They're voice actors, and they've got, I forgot their real names, but I've got it. I got it written down somewhere. I said, man, I'd love to talk to them. Like 2 months later, I had a phone conversation with these two guys, and they actually recorded a bumper that I used for years. A bumper, because I did this thing called NLG Sports.
Yeah.
So I tried to be a little different when in my writing. Like, instead of just typing stuff up, I tried to act like I was a sports commentator, or when we were doing a movie about a war game or something like that, like Full Spectrum Warrior, which is one of my favorites.
Oh, wow, bringing it back, man.
Yeah, I got a story about that too, an E3 story. I'd be like a war correspondent, and my writing style was just, I just didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. I wanted to try to be unique.
Yeah.
So I had this thing, NLG Sports, with our worldwide headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland, and the coolest thing that I had for that was the guys from Dan Stevens, Peter O'Keefe. They recorded for me a bumper that I used for it.
That's awesome, dude.
Awesome. But Full Spectrum Warrior, I'm sorry, it was Brothers in Arms. I had the game wrong. Remember Brothers in Arms?
I remember that one too, man. And we're really going down memory lane on this episode, sir. Man.
They brought in like this real 5-star general to help with the game.
Yeah.
And so, they brought you in to this to like the back of this army truck that was on the show floor, and they had TVs in there, and they were showing off the game and stuff like that. And me and my other writer who was there at the time, we had like a good 15-20 minute conversation with the guy. Really, like we were and he was doing the demo, which was really cool because he was showing us his insight and how that game was so different than other games at the time because he brought like real battle maps and stuff to develop. I forgot who developed Brothers in Arms. Gearbox. Not Gearbox. Yeah. Hold on.
Was it Gearbox? We have to look that up.
Yeah, I think it was Gearbox.
By the way, the Basement Radio Arcade podcast. Enrique, he goes, "Do you guys remember the Black Hawk Down game?" I actually do remember that.
I do remember that. I did. I can't remember it as well, but it was Gearbox, by the way, that did.
Gearbox, okay,
That was a Pitchford game. That one, and then Road to Hill 30 was the sequel. So we talked to this guy. I didn't think a thing of it. We went back the next year when they were doing the second game. We walked by because we were going to get a demo of the game. That general remembered us. And I was like, how do you remember us from thousands of people? Because you took the time to talk to me last year when everybody else just kind of rolled through, did the demo, went through it. You guys seemed really interested in what I was talking about. He remembered us, a freaking 5-star general. That was cool.
That's crazy, man.
No. So, now we got all these memories out of the way. Now we can talk about where this thing is going.
Yeah, because that's the interesting question. Where is the E3 going? What is it changing into?
Right, and I know you and I kind of are in different paths on where we think this is headed, and so I think this would be a great discussion to have. This year more than any, it's so bizarrely different to me. I'm going to bring up the map while we're talking so that people can see. In the old days, it used to be you had, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, Capcom, Konami. Ubisoft had grown.
Yeah.
But, this is the South Hall. Let's go to...
You're trying to go to the West Hall now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because for people who don't know, there's two separate halls.
Right.
The West Hall is where the bigger publishers would kind of hang out. I'm talking about like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft. South Hall, they would still have big guys too. They used to have Activision, EA.
That was your third party.
Yeah, that was a third party, exactly. Yeah.
So this year we have Sony, which takes up a decent amount of floor space, and you have to think that some of this is PSVR, right?
Of course, yeah.
Some of this is going to be their lineup, and then whatever friggin' I don't know if they're showing consoles or not. This whole new console discussion needs to just stop.
Hey, that's way in the future, man.
I know.
It's coming.
No,
bro.
I don't mean it like that. I mean, that's a whole separate conversation that after E3 I want to have once these things are officially announced. I'm just saying, can we just get to the show so we can find out if these things are actually going to be announced?
Yeah, I agree with you on that because it's just so much speculation now. It's like, guys, you guys are literally debating two consoles that don't exist yet. This is how ridiculous you guys are. Because you got these Xbox guys going, oh, the
Scorpio
is going to beat the Neo. It's like, how do you know that?
How do you know? Wouldn't it be funny if these were just phantom consoles and didn't even really exist, but both companies just wanted to fuck with everybody? So. Sorry, a little more email there.
Look how different it is, man.
Yeah, so you got Sony, and you got Microsoft,
of course,
and then you got little shit.
Yeah, little ones. Like usually, right there, like right by the entrance, you would have, I think it was Atlas or
which is here.
Okay, there. Okay, so Atlas is there.
You're walking into IGN and Turtle Beach.
Yeah, IGN's always there. That's right. Yeah, and then
I've never even heard of MRX.
Yeah, I never heard of Exceed is always there. That's right.
Focus. I've heard of Focus. Plantronics. Why is Plantronics in a? This is my headset. Why is Plantronics in a friggin' game show?
Hey man, they gotta hawk their shit. I don't know, man.
I mean, all these people you've never heard of before. Oculus has.
that makes sense. To be fair, Oculus having a big booth like that makes sense.
Yes, I know. They're pushing the VR.
Yeah,
they got Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo.
All this space.
Look at that. Okay, in years past, now that same space right there, Nintendo's always occupied that. But this year, it's nothing but Zelda.
Wii-U. Not even NX Zelda. Zelda Wii-U.
What a waste. What a waste, man.
Oh my god. And then you got a little bit here, and then a little Oculus here, and a little cubicle ninjas.
You,
Whatever the hell that is.
I don't even know,
So
man.
that's West Hall. Then, of course, you had the meeting rooms in between.
Yeah.
And then the South Hall. Now, like you were saying, this used to be the big third-party hall.
Now check it out. Okay, you guys see the entrance, right? That's where EA used to be.
I thought...
Yeah, that's where EA used to be. Right there where you're pointing, that's where EA used to be.
Okay, so in my day, that's where Konami used to be. Because you used to walk in this entrance and get hit with that Metal Gear... that Metal Gear movie that was louder than anything else in the friggin' hall.
So see, when I started going, you see the one right next to it on the right? That's where Konami was.
That's Square Enix now.
Yeah, Square Enix. Yeah, Square Enix used to be above them.
Square's got some stuff to show, even though they're showing Deus Ex the week before.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So Take-Two claims they're going to have a lot to show.
Now, okay, you see the one right above where you're pointing at, right? That's where Activision used to be.
And now it's Warner Brothers.
And then right next to, was it on the left hand? The left hand side. I believe, what was that? Was 2K? I think it was 2K was there. I don't know what's there now. What's there now?
Not Ubisoft.
No, it's Ubisoft. Okay, because Ubisoft actually used to be on the.
They used to be over here.
Exactly, that's where they
used to be. Like, and they used to be a little booth. Like they were. What the hell is this?
I don't
Pro
know.
versus G.I. Joe?
What?
What?
How did they get us?
Hold on, I gotta click on this. Hold on.
What the hell is that?
Oh, we gotta see this. Hold on. Please be a real website.
Like what? Oh, wow. What is
it's a pro event.
Oh,
so
okay.
Okay.
See, that's the thing. That's becoming bigger too. You know.
Esports.
Esports, yeah.
My man Frankie Aller from Short Pause is in the chat room, and I can see him right now. Like, I can see him sighing heavily. So, oh my God, Young Savage is in the chat room early.
Young Savage, man. He's been checking out on Throwdown, live and stuff, because we finally figured it out, So he's been in there kicking in and stuff, which is always fun.
Yeah, he's early. Usually he catches us at the last 5 minutes of our show.
Oh wow! No, he knew I was here. That's why.
There you go. Then you got the mobile and social game pavilion.
Wow.
College game competition. I mean, this is...
Where's that porno booth? You heard about that?
I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
Pico, Worldwide Gaming, Bud Games. There it is. Somebody was asking where the beer station was. Nice. There it is.
Now, where's Konami this year?
Konami this year... Well, there's Bethesda.
Because the Konami this year, all they're showing is the soccer game, right?
Well, and their massive Metal Gear Pachinko.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Now, the thing is, last year was I had an appointment with Konami, right?
Where are they? Holy shit, where are they?
I know Konami's there. I have an appointment with them,
You might have an appointment in their meeting room.
Oh, dude, the only reason I made an appointment with them was because last year they had a fucking a mini bar with free beer. Dude, I was like, hell
they're not on the show floor.
Wow. Yeah, they're
this
probably
is what is so strange to me. No Konami, no Sega, no Activision, no EA. They're getting filled by Twitch. Twitch is on the show floor. And T-Mobile. Why is T-Mobile at a game show?
Wow. T-Mobile. That's crazy. See, Twitch, I could understand. I could understand Twitch, right?
But Twitch game, yeah. Although have you seen anything from Twitch gaming lately?
No, but the thing is, Twitch provides gaming to people, understand?
Oh, I'm thinking Twitter. I'm sorry.
No, Twitch.
Twitch makes sense. But at the front?
Dude, okay, when I went to PAX East last month, right? Twitch probably had the biggest booth there, and it was always populated. It was ridiculous, bro.
Crazy. The ESA Foundation has a bigger booth than... Oh my God. This is nuts. Alienware, I can see Twitter. There it is. So I knew I saw it. Twitter has a booth.
Wow. Where's Capcom? Is Capcom even on the show floor?
Yes, I saw Capcom. Because obviously they're going to do Street Fighter V stuff.
Yeah.
And
dude, I remember there it is, Capcom. I remember last year I went there, I had an appointment too, man. Dude, I was whipping the shit out of everybody, man, in Street Fighter. It was embarrassing.
Pop-Up Gaming, Prima Games. Prima Games used to be a big booth.
Yeah, I remember them.
This booth is available. They have booths that are available. Let's get a booth, Tony, man. You and me.
Let's do it, buddy.
Holy crap.
Jeez.
I don't even know these people. Here we go. NC Games Latham. Blackjack Studio. Next Level Racing. There we go.
Yeah, next level gaming we need now, right?
Yeah, we need that. We may as well. So, I mean, this is Naughty America. Maybe that's it.
There it is. That's it. That's it. Naughty America.
That's really it.
I'm going. I'm making my appointment.
All right. If there are any children watching this podcast, please turn your heads.
Man,
I want to see.
Watching, man.
Oh my God! No, we're
fantastic.
turning. Oh my God!
Man, I need to show that on Throwdown, man.
Oh my God!
That was beautiful.
Oh my God!
Hey, that was PG though. Those girls were still clothed, you know.
Yeah, they were. She had her hand down her pants, but
that's okay. Then you didn't see anything. It was a butt cheek. Everybody has butt cheeks.
That's true, unless you're Overwatch, and then you do not.
Yeah, oh man.
So I mean, your big guns now are Take-Two, Warner Brothers, Bethesda, Ubisoft. These are your big guns. Capcom somewhat.
Warner Brothers makes sense. So they're pretty huge now. Like remember last year, like
I remember, yeah,
5 of the top selling games of the year were from Warner Brothers. You know.
Yeah, that was they've had a good year.
Yeah.
And so here's all right. Let's see if we can find yours. So here's Namco. Namco used to have a booth.
Yes, they did. Now it's
just meeting rooms. LucasArts. They're not LucasArts. Here's Kawaii. Tecmo used to have a booth. Mm-hmm. Kawaii used to have a booth. Now it's just a meeting room. Here's your Activision publishing booth, your meeting room. I don't know what Gameforge is. Nordic Games.
No, I remember Nordic Games. Yeah.
So EA at least has a meeting room. And I want to talk about that too.
Yeah,
Deep Silver. Take this AFK room. So I mean, I'm gonna find Konami for you.
Yeah, Konami, man. Like,
gotta be here.
I know they do. I made an appointment with them. I'm going. You know,
Epic. There's Epic. Facebook's got a meeting room. In case you want to meet with Facebook. Well, because Facebook owns Oculus.
That's true.
There they are.
Konami. There you go.
Stairs down to the concourse.
Wow.
So this is your show floor. It's so different. And
it's great because the thing is because this is going to be my 4th year, right? For the first 3 years I went, there was no changes. Everything was the same. And now this year it's like complete upheaval. Like you could plan everything. It's like, you go to Microsoft in the morning, right? I'm talking about like the very first day, right? Microsoft event in the morning. Right after that, you got EA. Right after that, you got Ubisoft. And after that, you got Sony. And then last year started changing, right? You had Bethesda and PC Gamer throwing their hat in the ring, and I believe Square Enix too. And now this year, EA's like, we're not doing this shit on Monday. We're doing this on Sunday. Ubisoft is doing a different time. Sony changed their venue. It's nuts, man.
Well, so this is where I wanted to take. So we had past. Here's present.
Yeah.
Let's talk future. Because like I said, I know you and I are kind of in two different mindsets when it comes to where we think E3 is going. So this is a good launching point for that.
Yeah. Now, before we get into that, I just want to ask: are we talking about what we want or what we think is going to happen? Because my whole thing's like, this is what I think is going to happen.
That's what I'm going with. What I think. And it may, I may be totally wrong, but it's where I
could be wrong too. Yeah.
It's where I see it heading.
Yeah.
More so than what I want to see. I mean, obviously what I want to see is the heyday, but the heyday's gone.
Heyday's gone, man. That's it.
The heyday's gone. I am aging out. That's something that actually, off topic a little bit, is scaring the shit out of me. Is that a lot of people my age, are starting to age out of gaming. Like I got friends that, but most of my friends that are my age now, maybe a little older, who are gaming, I've met them online. Like none of my actual my actual friends that I hang out with, save one, game, and that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not like in your age, but even now I'm thinking like, yo, this is a young man's game. This whole gaming journalism thing or whatever, it really is. Like I'm on the older end of the spectrum, believe it or not. I'm younger than you, so I'm not surprised you kind of tapped out in that regard. You're just doing this because you like it, because it's fun. you know. But yeah, you're right. I totally agree with you there. It's like people are just tapping out of gaming now, you know, people that are like, you know, around our age and stuff.
Well, and I think a lot of people are seeing the changes that are happening and they don't like it either.
Yeah, like iterative consoles, that's a whole other topic, you know.
Yeah, that's a post E3 topic because I agree with you. They're coming. I agree with you that's the future. I've continued to maintain I don't like the timing, but that's a whole other conversation, you know, to have once we actually know what's coming. I think, you know, as you said, everybody's been arguing about two consoles that don't exist right now.
Yeah,
So why are, you know, everybody could be wrong, and these things could be totally different than what we think, and you know, there's a lot of people that could have some egg on their face when all is said and done. So I'd rather, you know, I don't think that's the conversation to have before the show. I think that's a conversation for after, if these things actually get announced, which we don't know. I'm not even sure they will.
I don't think so. Like, I hope they, you know, this is where we get into that. It's like, I hope they show it, but I don't think they are. You know, it's too early. You know, especially with Microsoft, if they're supposedly coming out with this thing in 2017, might be too early for that. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and this
crazy.
is me aging, but this is me aging out because I know people who are like excited for this, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, this is like, these are like two companies that are bringing out consoles to apologize for their current consoles.
Exactly.
You and with Microsoft, you know, everybody brings up, well, Microsoft did it from the Xbox to the Xbox 360. Yes, but there's a reason for it. And this is where talking to them at E3 and actually getting them out from their PR shell is where that stuff comes in. You know, the Xbox went fast because that to them was their foot in the door. They didn't sell a lot of consoles, so they had two choices: either come up with the 360 or get out. Especially when a lot of people. I tell this story too because this was an interesting time in like '01 and 2000, 2001. Even developers were not sold on a Microsoft console. And I remember my Konami rep, which wasn't a Konami person itself. A lot of those, I don't know how it is now, but a lot of the reps back then were third party.
Yeah.
So like Arnie was third party. He did work for Microsoft for a while, and then he started to. My Sega reps were not Sega; they were Access PR. So my Konami rep was a third party rep too, and he's like, I don't know why they're bringing out a console at all. It's not going to make it. I don't know what Microsoft's doing. I mean, these are developers and publishers telling me this. So, you know, Microsoft, for what it was worth, said, for us, the Xbox was a foot in the door to get a read on the market to see if it's viable for us to be in this. And then they came up with a 360, and then, you know, history has been where it's at. And nobody's going away. But this whole thing now, where 4 years in, we got another console. But anyway, that's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing right there. You know.
Oh, look, John from Super Deformed Gamecast. He's in the chat room. And you know
Nice.
how I know? He's fucking with me already.
Yeah, John's a good guy, man.
He's a great guy. He likes to remind me how old I am.
Eh.
So anyway, so, you know, EA Play, totally coming off the show floor, deciding to do their own show. Microsoft Fan Fest. Activision. Well, now Microsoft's got a booth, though.
Mhm.
Activision saying, you know, we're just going to show, I'm sure they're going to be pretty much dominant on Sony's stage, showing Destiny, showing Call of Duty. No show floor presence. Nintendo, no conference, no direct. They're going to do a tree.
Wow.
They're going to do a treehouse play on Zelda, Wii U Zelda only.
Yeah, and I think don't they have like Pokemon or some other stuff too?
I think their entire show floor is.
Oh no, the show floor itself with the treehouse, you know, the actual streaming stuff. I think they're going to show.
Are they going to do some Pokemon?
Yeah,
it'd be nice to do something other than
something else. Exactly, 2 games.
No NX, none of that. So
Waste.
yeah, I mean, and they expect they're giving people 90-minute demos of Zelda. So no wonder they need all that floor space.
Yeah, right. Jeez, but yeah, I mean, this is how I see things. I think E3 is moving towards being more of a fan event than a press event. I mean, like I said, I've already seen it with my own eyes, right? Inviting fans and stuff. So I think that's where we're going. All those examples you cited too, right? EA doing their own thing, Activision doing their own thing. I think it's moving more towards a fan thing, because think about it like this, right? And let's just be honest. A lot of quote unquote journalists, right? They don't get excited about these games. To them, it's just a job. They go there to write about the games. It's over. You know, you get a couple fans in there, they're going to be tweeting like crazy. They're going to be excited, getting other people excited. They want that. And now think about it like this. You know, the big stars of this generation, as far as I'm concerned, are the YouTube guys, Twitch streamers, right? These guys are big because they're not, you know, like professional people. You know what I'm saying? They go in there, they get excited about the games and stuff, and the companies like that. I'm gonna tell you right now a little secret, because I know there's a lot of journalists, right, that don't like Hip Hop Gamer, you know, because the way he acts. Publishers love this guy because of the passion he brings, right? And they want that with the fans, you know. So I think that's where E3 is going. Now, me personally, you know, as a journalist, I don't want to see this because I'm trying to go to E3 to get work done. You know, it's not like when I go to Comic-Con or something, it's just a giant mess. I can't do shit. You know, E3 is always my favorite because it's a, you know, even though it's huge, it's a smaller in terms of volume of people there where I can actually get things done, you know? So in that regard, I don't like it. But as a fan, this is, you know, and this is before I even started doing this, I wanted this to happen. I wanted them to open it up to people. But I think given the environment of gaming now, they have no choice but to do this. If they want people to really get excited about their games, you bring in a fan. That's how.
Well, and that's what I think the third parties are doing and why they're doing it. EA knows that journalists are going to get a chance to play their games anyway. But now they're putting those games in the hands of fans sometimes before the journalists even get their hands on them. I mean, look at the EA Access. You're playing games I don't know why I do that. Every once in a while, I just point in a random direction. You're playing games 6 to 10 days before everybody else gets a chance to play them. Now they're just bringing fans out to play their games, and I guess they're going to meet with media too. But why, you know, in this day, and I think this is what's changed it more than anything. I think social media, you know, everybody having a cell phone camera, everybody being able to, like you said, man, you tweet this stuff out all day. Back in my day, you didn't have that. When I sat at a press conference, I had to basically take a laptop with me and type out all the notes, go back to the hotel, and put that stuff into an article and post it. Where now everything's live streamed. So you don't even have to be there unless you just want to kind of be in the room.
Yeah, that's always the running joke I've had. I'm like, you know, you could actually cover E3 more effectively from home.
You can.
You know,
but you get lost in it. But you can get lost in the moments, though. And that's the other thing about the conference.
But the thing is, like, you know, I remember it. Like, okay, I experienced this at Comic-Con. I really experienced this at E3. It was like being in the middle of a storm, right? The high of the storm. You don't notice all the chaos and shit around you. Like, people would have to tell me, "Hey, Tony, do you know this happened? You know that happened?" I'm like, I didn't know that shit because I'm busy doing my work. You know, like outside of the main event on Monday, right? After that, I don't know what's going on anymore. Because I'm like literally in it. It's like, you know, if you read a book, right, you got to keep it a certain distance from you so you're able to read the words. But if you put the book in your face, you can't read anything. That's a great analogy. That's what E3 is, man. You don't know what's going on around you, you know. But at the same time, not to divert it too much, but I will need to say this. What I really like about E3 is because you're there, you're talking to other professionals and stuff. That fanboy shit doesn't exist. You know, like that was like my first E3 was the first time I got away from N4G and stuff like that. I never went back after that. I'm like, this is great. I don't have to like look at this.
And again, we didn't have that back then. So you know, you had news sites. You didn't have opinion sites. Like we weren't, you know, we gave our opinions about how we felt about the conferences, and we gave winners and losers and stuff. But when it came down to it, we were doing previews. We were talking, you know, but you do miss. Like I was there for both of, you know, I talk about Peter Moore. I was there for both of his tattoos.
Yeah, what he did,
so, right now, and there's always this debate on Twitter. This is the truth. The Grand Theft Auto 4 is fake. Everybody knows that's fake. It looks like a painting.
Yeah.
That Halo 2 tattoo is real. It is absolutely real, and he actually has, you know, if you ask him, sometimes he'll show it off. Like he wouldn't do it. I don't think he would do it on, like he didn't do it on Podcast Unlocked because he's working for EA. But if you ask him, he'll show it to you.
Oh
Like
wow,
he
yeah,
showed it to us. He showed it to us at that Xbox 360 event. So the one he painted on for Grand Theft Auto, totally fake.
yeah,
The
yeah.
Halo 2 tattoo is 100% real. So
Well, there you go, people. Now you know. I
now
didn't
you
know that.
know.
That's crazy.
But those are the moments that you get to see when you're there that you don't
Yeah,
necessarily, it's like, okay, I see it on TV, and at the time we didn't see it on TV, if you unless somebody took a video of it and posted it
yeah,
later. I've got a picture of it, but I don't have, unless back then you had to be there. I don't. It's just not, doesn't seem to be the thing to be there anymore if you don't have to.
yeah. But that's how it is, though. Like when I started doing a lot more like stuff, as far as like appointments, like okay, I got some more hands-on stuff. But if I was home, I could literally talk about every trailer. I could talk about every announcement. You could get more done. It's kind of weird,
It is.
how it is. You get so much information. Like I remember even before I started going there, when they started showing this up in 2005, I felt like I was there because you had wall-to-wall coverage on G4. It was literally like 24 hours of coverage for 4 days straight. You
Yep.
know?
Those are the first people that actually made me nervous about what's going to happen to us guys who run websites, because everybody's going to want to watch G4 TV and no one's going to want to come to my site.
Yeah,
Those guys, it's like when game trailers started around the time that I retired, but I got the chance to see them start, and I thought they were cool because they were doing things that we couldn't do, with video. G4 TV was a television station.
yeah,
And I was like, man, I don't know what the hell's going to happen to us. And so, yeah, they were the first ones that really kind of made me concerned about what I was doing.
yeah. And then isn't it ironic how G4 was made obsolete by things like Twitch?
Yeah, and YouTube.
Yeah, and YouTube, it made them obsolete. It's crazy, man, how things are evolving. So that's the one thing I want people to take away with E3 is changing, and it will always keep changing. But I still believe we will always have E3 in some form. It may not be as big as it was before, but there'll always be that need to have one central time for gaming to have its moment in the sun. I don't think that's ever going to go away. Whether it's going to be a fan thing or a professional thing, I'm not sure, but we'll always have E3 in some form.
Yeah, see, I wish I had know. I wish. The only reason I feel different is because I see the spectacle of it. I see the spectacle of it changing. Um, I, I'm of the opposite mind. I think that the reason that they're doing a fan thing next year is because they're getting a little desperate, because you've got major companies that are either scaling back or pulling out. And this whole thing with social media and with this 24-hour news cycle has really changed how these games get covered. And it's you have we've talked about this a little bit on other podcasts. So I think that other shows are going to take a little more prominence. I think PAX will change more than anything else. And I know that freaks out some indie developers because that's a big show for them. But I think more companies are going to want to do more fan fest things and less press stuff. They figure they'll send press codes and the press will review games, and they'll get the bigger interviews, with these guys during these shows. But you know, EA. This is the interesting thing. How you're covering EA Play, right?
Yeah, I'm already. But here's the thing, though. I have a meeting with them on Sunday night. Think about that.
That's their conference.
Yeah, the conference on
Sunday after
Sunday.
it's at 5, right?
Yeah, so the conference is at 1 o'clock, local time, right? And then later on that night, I got, I'm going to play some other games and stuff. But I'm like, yo, this is crazy, because when I used to go to E3, I used to fly in on Sunday, and I got to fly in Saturday because EA's doing their thing a day early. It's crazy how things are going. I know. One of my other friends, Paris actually, from Gamer Tag Radio, he was telling me he has a bunch of appointments on Sunday. So it's weird how things are changing like that.
Yeah, and so I think in the next, and it's not going to be next year, because I think E3 is going to try this FanFest thing. I don't think EA and Activision, those guys, are going to come back to the show floor. And I think the more that they see the success of these FanFest stuff like Microsoft's doing and EA is doing, I think more of these companies are going to want to do FanFest type events instead. Plus, you have, like I say, you got PAX where that's a consumer related, event, and you have, you got these events where the companies basically now bring you to their facilities to do controlled preview and review events. I think you get more. I think they get more mileage out of Johnny Gamer taking his cell phone to EA Play and tweeting out how great Battlefield 1 is. You get that faster than waiting for IGN to talk about it or you guys to talk about it or us to talk about it. You got to wait for my podcast on Friday before we can talk about how great Battlefield 1 looked. But these guys out here that are playing it, they're tweeting it out to all their friends. They're showing pictures and stuff like that. And I know they like the fact that message is getting out faster than it's ever gotten before.
Yeah, and this is why I think it's going to be more fan orientated now. But I still believe they need to find that balance between like actual professional coverage and enthusiast stuff.
And I also think it's going to come down to money. The E3 was an expensive proposition, and so why buy floor show space when you can rent a giant hall somewhere else cheaper and control your own event. I still think, and I may be wrong, this may be just I misread how this is going. I still think Sony will bring PSX back into like July, August, right before the fall.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see Microsoft hold their Fan Fest, Sony's going to hold their Fan Fest, EA's going to have an EA Play, and you're going to start seeing Ubisoft and I don't think you're going to see any of the Japanese developers do this. I think they'll just go either go away or they might be the smaller part of an E3 where they're the second tier, and maybe the fans go to that. But I think that the outer shows that have been so the PAX stuff. I mean, give Penny Arcade some credit, man. They knew. It's almost like they foresaw the trend.
With independent stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, man.
But I think you're starting to see more big games at PAX, and now you've got a PAX in every region. You got North, South, East, and Prime, or what's it called now? It was Prime.
Yeah, Prime. Yeah, Prime is the Seattle one, right?
Right.
PAX South, in the South, and
right.
PAX East.
Right, which is up in Boston.
Yeah.
So I'd love to go up to that myself. That's that's on the
PAX is fun, man. PAX is a lot of fun, but it's not if you're there. I mean, even in my experience, if you're going there for big AAA games, you're going to be disappointed. It's really about the indie stuff, I mean, there are AAA games there, but it's not like they're not going to be dropping any bombs at PAX. It's very rare when that happens.
See, I think that's going to change. I think that, and I think because, and like I said, I think it's all going to come down to money. I think it's going to come down to whether or not companies want to continue to pay to be on the show floor of a show it seems to be dwindling. It's weird, and I'm just going off of my gut because it's just I'm having such a hard time just watching the evolution of it now, and it's bothering me because I'm older and because I'm I don't know.
But the thing is, even if you don't like it, you just have to accept the fact that things are changing. That's it. What is going to change, we don't know. We'll just have to see, and hopefully, we can make the best of it, whatever it is that it actually turns out to be. But we don't know.
Well, and the great part is some of us guys who I would love to go one more time before I truly age out of it. Be honest with you, I'd love to take my kid to it. That's why I want to go to PAX. I'd love to take my son up to PAX, let him get the experience, of what his dad used to do and that kind of thing. And I just, it's almost like I know some people who are going for the first time this year. My friends over at the Inner Circle, Anchorman, he's going for the first time this year. And I'm like, guys, get there while you can.
Yeah.
Because who the hell knows what it's going to be? No. Oh, look, we have a surprise. What the?
Oh, we got Chewbacca in the house.
It's Chewbacca Mom.
Oh, that is really annoying.
Oh, that really is.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, you
What's
got
up, man?
Man, how'd you hack your way in here?
Hold on. I gotta fix my I gotta fix my mic here. Hold on.
Uh-oh. But yeah, I mean, I think I got in at the twilight years of E3, to be honest. You know, like the last vestige of the old E3 before the new E3 came. So yeah, I agree with what you said. It's like, you know, tell dudes like Anchorman's like, enjoy it now while it lasts, bro.
Because I don't think it's, man, if that, it definitely won't be the same 5 years out than it is now.
No,
I think,
it'll be different. We're in that transitional period right now, you know? And maybe then it'll stabilize. Who knows?
All right. I had to
think,
put some class to this motherfucker.
Oh, for God's sakes. What's up, John? What are you drinking?
I am drinking Old Forester 1870.
No
Very
shit.
nice. So
I'm the London gentleman. I'm a man of taste.
So we were tonight's topic was basically E3. We were reminiscing, and me more so because I'm old, you know that.
Yeah.
But you know, telling some good stories and talking about where we think the show's going. So you caught us at the tail end because we're actually done.
Yeah, we're about to wrap up.
We're about to wrap up. But I had to get you in here, man, because I love you.
Mike, I got a question.
Yes.
What was it like during fucking Prohibition?
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
These jokes never end.
I want to know, who do you feel was a bigger threat, Adolf Hitler or Kaiser Wilhelm? Because I'm assuming you were about 35 during that time period. Nothing? You got nothing for me, huh?
I got nothing for you.
I just want to point out, as Sony in chat rightly said, my Chewbacca mask is not movie quality, so
it's also highly fucking annoying.
What? I can't hear you over the sound of my awesomeness.
You and I have two very different definitions of awesome.
This is actually my son's.
Ah, very cool.
Not mine, but
very cool.
So, I missed the whole thing, huh?
Yeah, you did. We're wrapping up.
Son of a bitch. I was all ready to talk about Fallout 4 DLC.
Yeah, you're on the wrong podcast.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I want to talk about games. I am on the wrong podcast. I don't want to talk about the old days, days gone by, reminiscing about the birds and the bees, and fucking Mike, your knee is looking a little swollen, man. Is it gonna rain tomorrow?
All right. Well, with that,
I'm in a mood tonight, man.
I see that. So next week, all right. So next week we're gonna do our final pre E3 show, and if you want to come on and talk shit, come on. You're welcome. You know that.
Well, actually, I will point out real quick. Speaking of E3, just to kind of give a quick plug. The week after E3, I don't know if you guys, everybody in the chat probably knows who Kyle Bossman is from the Easy Allies from the Game Trailers. He will actually be
Gentlemen.
Oh God, what the hell's going on? Like, okay, Mike, you can't end the podcast now.
Yeah, we're ending it. I just thought I thought that you come say hi. You got your 5 minutes of fame. And
I came in to drink beers with you guys.
Nice.
But I want to put Kyle Bossman will be on the show the week after E3.
Very nice.
And Mike Huber actually might be on with him.
Yeah, I'm going to work on Mike Huber as well, and we are going to have Christian Allen on this show shortly after E3. It's just figuring out the date to get him on, so he can come on and talk about what's next after Epsilon and what's next for Cerulean, and talk some. I gotta talk Ghost Recon with that guy because that was my shit back then.
Beastfire in chat says let John do his E3 predictions.
That's next week, brother. We're gonna do E3 predictions next week. You want to come on?
Yeah, I'll come on.
All right. So next week this one was just slow news week, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. And Tony and I have been talking about coming on and just talking about where E3 has been, what it looks like this now, and where we think it's going. I will take that from you guys. If you guys are in the know, you guys get to watch it, kind of like the rest of us do. Although Tony gets to go, But you've seen what's happened with EA pulling out, Activision pulling out, and you know these new companies are taking their spots, sure, but you know, where do you guys see E3 in the next couple of weeks, or a couple of years rather?
Dead.
I don't think it's going to be dead. I think, like what Tony said earlier, I think it's just going to be ever evolving. It's just going to be changing.
I just don't think it's going to be a conference. I don't think it's going to be a thing. Or at least at the very rate, I think it'll fall far behind Gamescom in relevance.
Behind Gamescom, wow.
Yep.
Well, that Gamescom's open to the public, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, there. Think about it. There are more developers and more people attending Gamescom than there have been E3 the past couple of years.
Because it's open to the public.
Because it's open to the public, yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a big difference.
You think E3 could just be evolving into that model?
I think E3 is going to be eclipsed by Gamescom in the next
Gamescom.
3 years.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just can't see it. But I'm like, that's just weird. Like Gamescom, really? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm having a hard time accepting that. Basically,
I see them kind of opening it to the public, and if it works, if they open, because they're doing that Fan Fest this year. If this is something that takes off, I can see them in the future doing something like Gamescom, where it's just open to the public and press.
Honestly, E3 should have been open to the public 5 years ago. If they want to stay, if they want to stay, that's why Gamescom is making leaps and bounds in relevance and popularity, because it is much more accessible to you know, the people who keep this industry alive, which is not the media, it's the gamer, it's the board gamer. You know, those are the people you need to be letting in. And Gamescom does that. It gives you know, gamers, guys like us, guys who don't go to E3, the chance to go and experience a trade show. And E3 just seems aloof in comparison, aloof and untouchable.
But see, this is why I also think a show like PAX is going to gain out of this too. And you know, because Tony and I were talking about, you know, where PAX is. Mm-hmm. The one thing that PAX has is regional shows. You know, if you want to go to E3, you got to go to LA. If you want to go to Gamescom, you got to go to Cologne. Whereas with PAX, if you can't make it to Seattle, you can go to Boston, or you can go to was it Atlanta?
No, it's actually Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
You've got Texas. That's right, Texas. You've got these places you can go that's kind of in your region if you can't make it to the show. And you know, Comic-Con also. I mean, look at what Microsoft does with Comic-Con. They bring these freaking great-looking consoles that they don't sell to the public because they're idiots. And they show off, and they're showing off games, and they're making announcements at Comic-Con of all places.
That's crazy, man.
I mean, these are the things that I think are moving in the direction of where, you know, the relevance of where E3 once was. You know, obviously E3 wants to continue to be the spectacle of the year, and I agree with that, Tony. They want to be the Super Bowl of gaming conferences.
Yeah.
I just don't know how. I don't know how they. I don't know how they do it.
Like I said, it's changing, but you know, I mean, we're already seeing things going towards the fans, so maybe that'll be the way to maybe quote unquote save E3. I don't know.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, E3 should. I don't know. It's like I said, I'm conflicted because as a journalist, like I would prefer. I'm just gonna be honest. No fans there. It's like let us do our job. You know?
Right. No, I totally agree with you because you get fans. Fans get it. You love the fans, but they get in the way of the journalists doing their jobs.
Yeah, or at least have like 1 or 2 days where it's just journalists and then a day for fans. You know, because I do want the fans to experience it, but at the same time, journalists have a job to do.
I want to say they tried that in either 05 or 06, where the last day they were letting people not a lot. They had a cap. They let like 5,000 people in or something like that. I seem to remember that, and I don't remember the exact year. It was a clusterfuck. It was a total. You couldn't walk around. You couldn't do anything.
Dude, it was a clusterfuck last year, man. They did the same thing. They had 5,000 dudes. This is how you can tell the journalists from the fans, right? Open up the show doors. Typically, what happens is they open the show doors. People walk in. The dudes who ran in, like a fire was starting. Okay, those are the fans.
Those are the fans.
I tell you what, I'd be the fan running in to go to Naughty America.
yes.
Brossers.
Jesus.
I couldn't believe that, man. I thought you were joking, Tony.
Mike, I'm actually gonna try to get you some sponsorship from Brossers.
Oh. I might take sponsorship from anywhere at this point.
By the way, is it Brazzers? I always call them Brazers.
I always thought it was Brazers too,
That's
Tony.
what I thought.
No, it's browsers. It's browsers.
I'm gonna take your word for it, John.
What's the other one?
You're more. Yeah. I'm assuming you're more of an expert at this than I am.
Telling you right now. I know for a fact it's browsers.
I guess bronze. I guess.
Serious look on his face. And
John's been in talk already to have them be a sponsor for Super Deformed Gamescast.
Hey, you know what? I will take any. Although I will say this, like little known fact about me, I actually used to be a radio DJ late at night. So, you know.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
back in college, man. Yeah, I could throw on my fucking radio voice anytime you want. Mix 97.3, Savannah's best mix of the 80s and 90s. You know.
Good.
Nice.
Savannah, Georgia was the fucking worst place.
Where's your radio voice, man?
That's what I was thinking, man.
I can give you guys a little Christopher Walken.
Here we go.
I should do a whole podcast like Christopher Walken.
All right, this is how we're going to end the show.
Mike, I've really enjoyed being on your podcast. Thanks for having me on. It was a good time. Everybody enjoyed themselves. Yes.
Damn.
What about some Vito Corleone?
Holy, I'm impressed.
What? Oh, you want some Vito? You want some Godfather?
Yes.
That's what you're asking me.
I'm going to talk about video games. That's all I want to talk about. Now, if you come to me in friendship, the men who did this near thought of me suffering this very day. The enemies become my enemies, and I will fear you. But one day, this day may never come, when I ask you to do a small service for me. But until that day comes, consider this just as a gift on the day my daughter's wedding.
That is fantastic. Holy crap.
Great.
That
was
awesome.
Wow.
I'm a little Kermit the Frog. You want a little Kermit the Frog? I could just do this whole podcast. Be like, Kermit the Frog here.
Oh, man.
But I think Christopher Walken is my favorite voice to do, just because he's so funny.
That is fantastic.
But when you do Walken, you've got to get all the right facial tics going, because he's very expressive.
That's very good.
I'm very drunk.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I can tell.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Enrique and I, we used to be on, and I used to game with some guys, and I used to throw on the Bane voice. Because that's the one voice that I.
Oh god! Oh! You want some Bane?
Bane.
That's what you're telling me. You want some Bane, right?
Listen up.
You want to hear some Bane?
Bane. Oh,
So,
yeah,
no, you gotta get the.
Yes,
you
yeah,
gotta
red, you know.
You gotta muffle your voice, and then you gotta be like. I was wondering what would break first. Your spirit
or your buddy.
Your buddy.
Yeah, you gotta get that accent too. You gotta get that. You gotta get that accent too. Or your buddy.
You gotta. Well, you know, here's the thing about Bane, right? Here's the thing about Bane that always got me. Like, I'm watching The Dark Knight Rises, and I'm like, that's cool. You know, this is cool. But why does Bane sound like my college English lit professor? Like I kept thinking that, like, I kept thinking he was going to turn around and say, your homework assignment tonight. I want you to.
The good people of Gotham.
I want an
To
essay.
you. I give the city to you.
No, brother.
I need 12. I want 12 pages on the social aspects.
Bane, Walken, Bane.
I wonder if you could do like a Christopher Walken, but like if he was Bane.
Walken Bane.
As he was Bane, yeah.
Yes, Walken Bane.
You could be like what's a good Bane line from the movie when he's fighting, when he's fighting Batman in the sewer,
Mm-hmm.
and he's but what does he say?
I was born in the dark or something.
Oh, yeah,
you use
the dark. Yeah. He says, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it, you could say.
Oh, that's fun.
What is it? He says, by the time I saw the light, I was already a man. By then, it was nothing to me but blinding.
Oh my God! This podcast needs more cowbell.
You fight like a young man, nothing held back. Admirable, but mistaken.
Oh my God, that is the best.
Go ahead. Fuck it. Give me another movie line. I'll do Christopher Walken. Go ahead. What's a good one? What's a good one? What about a little fucking Ultron? What Ultron from Age of Ultron, right?
Oh God, nobody remembers Ultron.
I do, because I fucking remember everything. He says, what does he say? I'm here to save the world, but also, yeah. Or let's say, what's a really good movie? Oh, Darth Vader. Darth Vader would be fucking excellent as Christopher Walken, wouldn't he? Be like, your thoughts betray you. Your feelings for her are strong, especially for sister. So, you have a twin sister. Your feelings have betrayed her too. If you won't turn to the dark side, then, my friend, perhaps she will.
Oh man,
This is hilarious.
Oh my God.
I know, right? Like actually, you know what? Like Palpatine would be the best, right?
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Palpatine would be the best. He's like frying Luke with his. He's like, young fool. Now, only at the end do you understand. Your feeble skills, my friend, are no match for the power of the dark side. You have paid the price for your lack of vision. By now, you must know that your father can never be turned.
Okay.
So shall it be with you, my friend.
Oh, shit.
Yes. Okay, we'll stop there.
Fantastic.
We'll stop.
What are we talking about?
you get mad.
People in chat are dying.
Yeah, people are dying in chat. Yeah.
They're loving it.
So
They're
glad
loving it. All
you
right, all right.
Beast Fire's like I'm dying in here.
We gotta give him one more.
All right, one more.
We gotta give him one more. What's a good Christopher Walken adaptation for a character? What would it be? Like, think of
Tony, you're the anime and comic guy.
oh God, like what about? Oh, come on, Tony, give me something, man.
No, because we got to pick something that everybody knows. You can't be too.
Yeah, it can't be obscure.
Yeah, it can't
no,
be.
it really can't. What about oh shit, Jar Jar Binks.
Oh no, don't end it with that.
No, Misa called Jar Jar Binks. Misa, your humble servant. No, that's not good enough. You gotta do like oh God, what's it? See, yeah, you're right. It can't be Jar Jar. It's gotta be like little baby Anakin. Are you an angel? I'm a person. My name is Anakin. Tony, help me out, man. You gotta give me something.
I'm trying.
How
How about some Anchorman?
Oh,
Anchorman,
yeah.
Christopher Walken doing Anchorman.
You want a little Ron Burgundy?
Right.
I can give you a little Ron Burgundy.
This is what we're gonna end on
I can give you a little Ron Burgundy.
right here.
Okay, what about? All right, how about this?
Speech from Goonies. Oh wait. You got to give us some Al Pacino walking.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
yeah. Al Pacino
We'll
walking.
do Ron Burgundy, and then we'll do Al Pacino, and then we'll end it on that.
And then we'll end on
Okay,
that.
Ron Burgundy. I'm in a glass case of emotion. Or what's another good one? This burrito is tasty, but it is filling. Or I love scotch. Scotchy, scotch. Here it goes down into my belly. The Human Torch was denied that clone. Or what about you're a dirty, smelly pirate hooker. Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island? The fuck is happening on this podcast?
I don't know, but man, I'm
That's
glad
what
that you
yeah.
came on.
Brick,
Yeah.
Brick, come here. Give me a hug. I know you want to.
Oh man.
I am completely miserable. San Diego. It's so damn hot.
Oh, you have to do the San Diego memes.
Oh, yeah. What about... And for everybody here in Channel 6, this is Ron Burgundy. Go fuck yourself. San Diego. All right, well, and you wanted Al Pacino, right?
Yeah.
You know. All right. What about
I was just watching The Devil's Advocate. Good
Okay.
movie, by
That's
the
a good
way.
movie. Yeah.
Okay,
That was
what
a good
about
Great movie.
Okay, God, that's a he's got so many memorable quotes in there.
I know.
Do something from Heat.
Here we go.
Oh,
All right, here we
the
go.
Heat. Oh,
Here we
the
go.
Heat speech.
Here we go. I'm the hand up Mona Lisa's skirt. They don't see me coming. Or you're God's special little creature. Yes. Or
Wait, I got one. Hey, John. Christopher Walken, Hannibal Lecter.
Oh,
I knew him. I ate his liver with fava beans and a nice Chianti. Slurping noises.
Slurping noises.
Nice Chianti.
Hello, Clarice.
This is a great way to end.
Bill Pullman from Independence Day.
Just in time for the new movie.
Here you go. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we mark our Independence Day. We will not go quietly into the night. We're not going to give up without a fight. Or what about that idiot who flew his plane into the fucking alien ship?
Randy Quaid.
Yeah, Randy,
Yeah.
Actually, let's clear the road.
Or what about hey?
Oh my God, Jeff Goldblum, Christopher Walken.
Jeff Goldblum? What about Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
What about now that is one big pile of shit.
Oh, Beastfire says "Scent of a Woman."
Scent of a Woman. I don't know any quotes from Scent of a Woman, but I can give you a little
Google is for
Robert De Niro. I can give you a little Robert De Niro fucking from what about Meet the Parents? When he's like, "Listen, Greg, I'm watching you, studying your every move, and if I find you're trying to corrupt my firstborn daughter, I will bring you down, baby. I will bring you down. Chinatown."
Oh my God! Oh, all right. Truly
I can also do Robert De Niro, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh, do Bobby De Niro. You gotta
Robert
do
De Niro. You gotta get the voice though. You gotta.
Look at the face.
Yeah, the last.
John, you gotta do Bobby De Niro.
Wait.
Oh, no, like, just now I can see myself doing the face, and I can't take it seriously. I'm like,
Now you look like you're having a stroke.
you. I can't do it seriously.
All right, one more. All right, the last one truly because our chat room is so awesome. Chevy Chase's meltdown on Christmas Vacation.
I don't know that one.
What?
I don't know.
Bobby De Niro.
I can't do it.
Yeah. Oh man! All right.
Oh.
All right. I'm gonna wrap this up. Hey, I'm glad you came in to do an impression that for us there, John.
That was
Okay.
funny.
The Walken man is unbelievable.
Yes, I know. Thank you for your compliment.
Are you the one doing them from? We're doing them for Machinima. Was that you?
No, I actually have no idea what you're talking about. No.
So, Tony, you remember Machinima?
Yeah, I remember them back in the
They
day.
used to do these videos called walk-throughs.
Yes, I remember that.
And it was somebody voicing Christopher Walken, and he was doing a review of a game. And I swear to God, your Walken sounds exactly like that one, and it sounds so close.
I actually practice these. I used to do a lot of theater when I was in high school, and I actually practice these. Like I've been working on my Denzel Washington, believe it or not, in the mirror. You know, you gotta, but you know, with Denzel, you know, you gotta get the whole face. You know, you gotta get the. Okay, all right. How you doing? Okay. Yeah, you got to get the, you know, yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still working on that one.
Yeah.
But
All right.
but yeah,
All right.
Beastfire in chat says, yeah, in order to do De Niro, you got to get the meth face. You got to.
Yeah,
It is a meth face.
stroke. The meth face. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
All
we're gonna
right.
wrap this up or what?
Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna wrap this.
Hey, Mike and Tony, I just want to say, great
talking to me?
podcast, guys. I really enjoyed that face. I enjoyed hearing some of these E3 stories. It's good stuff.
Yeah, Tony.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you were able to come on tonight because, like I say, you and I have been talking about this for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
now we actually got it on podcast. But you know how it is. Okay, so you come for E3 stories and you stay for impressions, right? That's
Right, you stay for Christopher Walken. So,
Oh God! Somebody in the chat says next time do something. Oh, that was Eric. Eric in chat said next time do something from Coming to America.
yeah, Eric's been bringing us ideas.
Yeah,
I can't believe you haven't seen Christmas Vacation. I'm a Jew. I'm a Jew and I see it every year.
I just don't. I mean, I've seen it at some point, but it's like that stupid fucking movie with the leg lamp. You know, Christmas Miracle, whatever it's fucking called.
Christmas Carol.
No, with the
Christmas
fucking
Story. Christmas Story.
Yeah, it's the dumbest fucking movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
Yeah. But next time I come on, Eric, for you, I'll do some some Coming to America for you.
All right.
I'll rock it.
All right. So, anyway, Tony, thanks for coming on tonight. It was a pleasure to have you on. I'm glad we got a chance to do this because I have been dying to talk about E3. It's just been, watching it evolve and move into what it's moving to. Like I said, as somebody who feels like he's getting aged out of this stuff, it's been.
I can't relate.
I know you can't. It's been tough to it's been tough to watch and tough to swallow. So, being able to tell some stories, you and I, man, it's
definitely. Yeah, I'm glad we told some more stories tonight.
Yeah.
Again, it's weird because E3 is going into a place we don't know yet, but at the same time, I'm so excited to see what it does turn into. The whole industry is just morphing into something else. Whether it's going to become better or worse, we don't know yet. But I want to be there along for the ride. I want to see where things are going. This year's E3, I think, is going to be very interesting too. This is the transitional E3. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you what. I'm really going to do this. We're going to do this next week as we have our last podcast before the conferences start. But just all three of you guys, give me one thing, just one, and just a short one of what you think you're going to see there. John. I'm sorry, Bobby.
I don't know. No, one thing I think we're going to see at E3. I can't take myself seriously anymore.
Just one, and not like a generality, like a game or a something.
I think you're going to see Borderlands 3.
Okay.
I think if Gearbox doesn't show Borderlands 3, they're stupid.
All right, Enrique. Just one thing.
New hardware.
All right. Good enough.
Yeah, new hardware.
Kept it nice and simple,
Yeah.
Tony?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a given. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think we'll see that.
All right. Well, and only because it was the town.
One thing, Mike. One thing. I think God of War 4 closes it out for Sony.
I agree.
You're gonna see
That'd be a good one.
I could see that. I think I could see that.
What about you, Mike?
Well, I think that we're going to see it's a good question.
You're gonna see some of that right there.
Yeah.
You're gonna see all kinds of that floating around.
You weren't prepared to answer your own question.
Well, I was gonna say,
Mike.
Battletoads.
Huh?
Battletoads.
Yeah, you kind of think you're gonna see that. I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up either Battletoads or a new Conquer.
Isn't there another Conquer Reuben floating around right now? Thought I read something or heard something about another Conquer.
So, I also, I what you're going to see. I saw that Ubisoft trailer, so you're going to see Watch Dogs 2.
Oh yeah,
that's coming. Yeah.
Mitchell Freeman says Half-Life 3. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
The
Freeman,
entire
right?
internet will
Actually, you know what? I think it's time.
That would be huge.
It's time.
Gaben does not care
Okay,
about
here's all right, bold predictions
your
of the
game.
year. Within the next year, you will see either Half-Life 3 or Portal 3 announced.
So I know what I think. I think we're gonna see Dead Rising 4.
Do you think it'll be exclusive?
I don't care, honestly. As long as I get to play it, I don't care.
You didn't take my console warrior bait, Mike.
I know. You're on my show, bitch. All right, guys. Enrique and John, thanks for jumping in at the last minute. John, thanks for
thank you, Mike.
for walking.
Yeah, hey, real quick, I'm actually going to be on PTK Blam's channel tomorrow night. At 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be interesting. He's got some interesting folks in chat. It's going to be interesting.
He does. Tell my nephew I said hello.
Is he your nephew?
I'm his drunk uncle.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a inside thing.
Is he Jewish?
No, he's not.
Yeah. No, he's a good dude. I was on his
He is a good
podcast.
dude.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I was on his podcast 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's the Mooch
that's
and I
right. Yeah, you were there.
in the chat room.
Yeah, you were there.
We were chilling.
Okay,
Wow.
enough of that. All right, Tony, tell them all about what you do, brother.
Yes, the pluggings. All right, so I am the host of the Throwdown podcast. We do 2 podcasts a week. One of them is the regular Throwdown show where we talk about general news, and then we have Throwdown Your Questions where we answer fans' questions. Sometimes we do spoiler alerts, mostly for movies, sometimes for games, and you can check out basically if you go to my Twitter, Romudeth, Mike, I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a link down there.
It's already there.
Yeah, you can find links to all the shit I write for the Coalition, for Geek.com, and for PC Mag, and other random things I do for the Coalition as well. Once again, dude, thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
This really was, man. I'm glad we got to do this. This has been a long time coming.
Hell yeah.
And, one day I'll get on the Throwdown where I can come and cuss for a while.
Yeah, exactly, and let it out. It actually kept the cussing down for you, man.
You did a great job, man. I was happy. John comes on, he's F this, F that, but you kept it. You kept it pretty good. I was impressed. Oh, and look, Rand is in the chat room late. He said, "Where's my invite?" Well, you didn't. We're ending it, Rand. Sorry.
Rand,
buddy.
Perhaps next time you should get here a little earlier, so you don't miss out on all my wonderful impressions. Rand, you disgust me with your tardiness.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do. So we got a just real quick programming note, and I'm gonna sign it off. So next week is the Friday before E3. We're gonna have our regular show at 10 p.m. John, if you wanna come on, that's great. Enrique, you're Emeritus. You're always invited.
Yes.
Rand, you could. Oh man, damn.
Can I just say something real quick, Mike?
Yes.
Eric, who's my co-host of Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, which comes on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just said, Jackson Heights' own Mr. Randy Watson.
Mr. Randy Watson.
Oh God. Anyway, so next week we'll have a regular podcast. We'll give our full E3 E3 predictions and stuff then, and then on Tuesday the 14th we're going to have a special show. And Enrique, I don't know if you've talked to Eric yet, but
No, not yet. I got to talk to the guys.
All right. So at the moment, this is going to be something that we haven't done before, something I don't know many places have done, actually. We are doing a joint post-E3 conference podcast Tuesday night at 10 on the 14th between Next Level Gaming and Short Pause Gaming. My friends Viper Strike, Frankie Aller, Ben Holt, and Brent, and those guys. And we're going to have... pretty much kind of a co-podcast. We're each gonna host segments of it. When it's done, they can pull that off and they can put it on their channel. We'll have it on each channel. I'm gonna make a specialized intro video for it, and it's gonna be kind of truly a joint effort to talk about post E3 press conference stuff and all the stuff. And I'm hoping that we can make it a mega show and get you in here, Enrique.
Yeah, man.
So
Mike, one
yes.
quick thing, because I totally spaced out on this. Okay, so for Throwdown, because it's 3 out of 5 of us are going to be at E3, right? And we're all staying in the same hotel room. What we're going to try to do, hopefully, is get podcasts out every single night. Not like 2-hour podcasts or anything, probably short, but like Monday night after all the conferences, we're probably going to do like an hour-long podcast, given our general impressions. Because last year, when I went with the coalition, right? This year I'm actually going with Wii-U, but we actually recorded it right there in the hotel room. You know how cool that is? Like, to have just everybody in the same room together talking about it. You don't have to worry about lagging and all that shit. So we're gonna do that again. We like the experience. So what we're gonna do is Monday night we're gonna do our impressions of all the major events that happen. Then each day after that we'll probably do 30-minute shows where we talk about our individual experiences on the show floor. So expect that. It's gonna be really cool. To do these things right there from the show.
All right, we'll do yours at 9 so that then they can come on here and listen to us at 10.
Yeah, well, don't worry, Mike, don't worry. We're not going to be doing live because you know how Wi-Fi is over there.
Oh yeah, I do. Dude, back in my back in my day, as John loves to remind me about, dude, we didn't have that. Wi-Fi was crap.
Wi-Fi is still kind of shitty, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do audio podcasts and then just throw something up on YouTube with a fucking picture or something, Yeah,
Mike's one of those guys who's like, I can't figure out this smartphone.
Actually, I'm losing. Actually, what we're trying to do is my friend Chris, right? He actually downloaded a bunch of game footage, right? So what he plans to do is throw our audio over that shit, something quick and dirty,
Oh, cool.
So it should be fun, man. So definitely, stay tuned for that.
Quick and dirty,
E3 coverage, man.
Nice.
I'm always down for quick and dirty.
The link for the Throwdown podcast and the Coalition site is in the description. So make sure you click on that and subscribe. And of course, Super Deformed Gamecast and the Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. You guys are all in my podcast family list on the side anyway. So you guys can click that stuff and subscribe at any point. I encourage it.
Real quick, Mike, if you don't mind, real quick. For everybody in chat, superdeformedgamescast.com, where we're active again. We're writing every day.
Oh, great.
And also, I highly encourage you, if you're on PlayStation Network, to go check out our community, Superdeformed Gamescast with an exclamation mark. Please go join there. And, of course, subscribe to our channel. Appreciate it. Sorry, Mike.
That's all right. No, awesome. No, it's we're all in this together, all 4 of us. So
yeah, absolutely.
We're the ones trying to keep it real.
Yep.
And so Tony, I loved having you on. You will be on again.
For sure, man.
For sure. And then like I say, next week will be a regular podcast, and the week after. So when we do our 14th on Tuesday, we will not have one that Friday, and then we'll just go back to the regular schedule. All right, chat room. You guys, fantastic job tonight. These guys keep us going, and of course, this time Peter beat me into the chat room. So credit to you.
He's always first, man.
He's always first, except
every
for last
podcast.
week. Every podcast.
Yeah.
And these guys, I love the chat room. They know how much I love them. It's one of those things where without them, it doesn't mean as much. So, and to have you guys on, it's always great to have good people on to share ideas and talk games and stuff. And you guys help me out because I'm doing this by myself. So, it's a lot easier.
The rotation, Mike. That you've been
I do
doing.
too. I've been enjoying it, and next week we'll have a good rotation. That Tuesday show, we can get a mega show together. That's gonna be hot.
That's gonna be awesome.
So, all right, like and subscribe our channel, of course, if you haven't already, and if you have, tell a friend. Thank you guys all. We will see you next Friday night at 10 p.m. Have a great weekend. Go get some gaming in. Hit us with one more little Chewbacca there.
Everybody have a no, that's impossible. But I would like to say to Rand, if you don't like my Walken impression, let's fucking see you do a better one.
Then we're gonna end right there. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Rand, I love him. Bye,
He
guys.
does. Rand is awesome. Everybody have a great weekend. Get some gaming in. We'll see you next week. Play on, gamers.